The Ruger LCP II and 22 long rifle, let's check it out. Ruger introduced the LCP in 380, and it has become a very popular concealed carry choice, mainly because of its size. It is so tiny. Now, one of the problems with such a tiny firearm is that the recoil, even though it's 380, can be a little excessive. And so it takes a lot of training to master that firearm. A lot of women carry the LCP in 380. And I'm afraid a lot of times they don't get the training that they really need to be able to use it effectively. Here we have the Ruger LCP II, which they also make a 380, but this is in the 22 long rifle version. It is a super soft shooting little 22 firearm that holds 10+1 over the 6+1 of the Ruger LCP. And so it's a very soft shooting firearm, and it's the same quality and the same dimensions, pretty much everything of the LCP II. And I want to thank the guys over at GunProDeals for sending the Ruger LCP 22. It really allows me to bring a lot of different firearms to you guys to check out. The Ruger LCP II 22, which stands for Lightweight Compact Pistol, was introduced in 2019, right at the end. This is a 22 caliber of the original LCP II that is in 380 ACP. So these are really very close to the exact same size. Now, the Ruger LCP II was introduced in 2016. It featured a last round bolt hold open, a slide lock, and a trigger safety. And so all of those are incorporated in the 22 version. But the original LCP was introduced in 2008. Now, the one thing about the original was that the trigger was atrocious. I'm telling you, it was hard to hit a target. In 2013, they introduced the Gen 2, which had a much better trigger and more prominent sights. And so this is the Gen 2, and it is a definite improvement. But with the LCP 2, this is an improvement over the original LCP. A little bit larger, better grip texturing, again, slide lock, and it does hold open on the last round. It has a glass-filled nylon frame, and it does have laser etch texturing, which is not super aggressive, but it's just right when you're shooting the 22, and for that matter, even the 380. We have a back strap here, and then the front strap is textured as well. One thing about the 22 is it does have an extended base plate, a little bit different. We're going to go ahead and make sure the gun is unloaded. We're going to drop the magazine. Your magazine release is right here, and then we're going to check the chamber, and it's empty. Now, this does have a magazine disconnect, so it locks the trigger into place. And so as long as your magazine's out, you can't fire the pistol. Another thing is that it does have a safety right here. It's a frame safety, and when it is engaged, it's just free play. There's no firing. And it's a different kind of safety. You push it forward to fire and then back, not like the standard lever which pushes down. It does have a trigger safety as well right here with the blade, and this cannot fire unless you hit that blade, and then it disengages and allows the trigger to fire. Does have a slide lock, which when it holds open on the last round, which is nice, but even then you can open this up and check for different things if you need just to hold it open without the magazine in it. Now, the magazine release is very small, but it's not difficult just to get a hold of. And it cannot be changed to the other side. It's a whole different shape. Nice, ample trigger guard. It'd be a little difficult with gloved hands, but very nicely finished firearm. The slide is a alloy steel, hardened steel slide, and it has a black oxide finish on it. Front and rear cocking serrations that are very easy to grab. Now, one of the things about the LCP II is it has what they call the light rack. really easy to pull that slide back. Very reminiscent of the SIG P238. And this makes it easier for people to draw this slide back, especially with weak hand strength. And it has some abbreviated little wings right here to be able to grab hold to get a little better leverage. Here with the 380, we'll go ahead and drop the magazine and check to make sure it's unloaded. With this, it's a little more difficult. Of course, you have 380 coming back. And so it's still very doable and very easy to do, but not compared to the light rack. I mean, this is so smooth. It does have a stainless steel barrel. 22 is marked right here on the barrel, but that's the only place that designates it to be a 22 caliber. You'll notice also the extractor is a little bit different, a lot longer, and that has a lot to do with just the design being a 22. Sights are very close to the same. Looks like the 22 has a little bit more depth, but the front sight is almost identical and an improvement over the standard LCP. In fact, here is the LCP. You can see very abbreviated sights. But to be honest, this is a micro concealed carry piece, and the sight, you don't want the sights to snag. The 380 LCP II holds 6 rounds. You can get a 7-round mag extension, and then we have 10 rounds for the 22, which is really nice considering this magazine is so small. And so we can have 10 rounds here, and I don't think there's any extensions, but the magazines typically run about $20. And GunProDeals had a 2-mag pack for $29.99. So I went ahead and ordered 2 of the 2-packs because it only comes with 1 magazine. And you know, when you're loading that and you're shooting so fast, because it's 22, you can shoot a lot more. And so I went ahead and ordered some extra mags. The barrel is 2.75 inches in length. It is a stainless steel barrel like we mentioned, and the length is the same on the 380. It's 0.81 inches in width, it's 4 inches in height, and it's 5.2 inches in length. Now, one of the things about this size pistol is that it is super easy to conceal. This would be a great backup for law enforcement, but honestly, if you want to really go deep carry, this makes a great option in the 380 and also in the 22 long rifle. Now you notice on the original LCP I have some Talon grips. This is a very slick frame compared to the new aggressive texturing that's on the LCP II. And really I don't feel like I need to put Talon grips on this one, but definitely it helps with the original LCP. Now the slide stop is minimal, but it does do a great job of holding this slide open. And that's one thing with the original LCP, it didn't have the slide stop, and so you had to remove your magazine to get the slide to drop. And it's a little bit inconvenient, but I really like having that slide stop. Mags, they pop out really well, as you can see. Now, according to Ruger, this is safe to dry fire. On 22 rimfires, you don't want to dry fire a lot. But with this one, again, it is safe, so that allows you to dry fire practice without any trouble. Weight on the LCP II and 22, 10.8 ounces, really lightweight. Now let's check the trigger pull action. Again, we're going to just check to make sure the gun is unloaded. This is a double action single strike trigger. And that means that you pull the trigger is in double action mode. That means the hammer's pre-cocked, but then it comes back and then it fires. But you don't have second strike capability. Now we're going to check the trigger pull action. So we hit our shoe. You have some take up right here. Just a little bit of stacking, but not bad. And then a fairly decent break. Let's check reset. Right about there. Not a super short reset, but that has a lot to do with the double action. We're going to check our trigger pull weight with our Lyman trigger gauge from Brownells. 6 pounds, 8.3 ounces. 6 pounds, 5.6 ounces. Now included is a small little pocket holster, and it's kind of that sticky material where it fits, and then this rests on the inside of your pocket to keep it from drawing when you pull the pistol. But it just fits right down in here. If you just want to carry it this way to keep it protected, that's a great way as well, but we're going to test it out. We're going to try out the pocket holster that it comes with it. We're going to just see how well it does. It's one of those sticky type holsters. Seems like it's retaining itself pretty decent, but we'll see in a more of a really rapid kind of test. really can only get 2 fingers, at the most 3. And so that would definitely take a lot of practice. You don't want to fumble around with it. It's pretty quick. It takes some practice, guys. We're going to be using some CCI mini mags to kind of start things off. They do recommend high velocity, and so this should work. But we do have some Federal bulk ammunition, and we're going to check that out as well. The Ruger LCP II and 22 at the range is just fantastic. I mean, it's so slick, and the slide just glides. The recoil is about 0. And for this really small pistol, you know, you're still able to take care of shots, shot placements really well. The CCI mini mags ran flawlessly through this handgun. Wanted to test out some bolts. We had some Federal 40 grain, and while it was very functional, the last round we did have that one issue. We had a solid primer strike on that last one, so it didn't fire. But one thing about, the reason I hesitated was when I looked at my slide, it looked like it wasn't in battery, but it was. So really just that last round didn't go off. The tiny grip, it does have some decent aggressive texturing, not super aggressive. It allows you to hold on to the grip. I never felt that it was going to slip. But with that really light recoil, you know, it's just not going anywhere. And the sights are a little difficult to see, but they're a little larger than the standard LCP, but you can pick them up. But the big problem is when it comes to accuracy, it's just not a target pistol. But still decent accuracy for a little 22 micro pistol. I've heard reports that people are engaging this safety accidentally. I never had any of that problem. I mean, it is a pretty solid safety, so unless I'm really, you know, jerking it or whatever, no problems whatsoever. I recommend, though, that because it does have a safety, that you utilize the safety, because it can inadvertently get knocked, and you want to make sure that you train and hit that safety off. Even if you don't engage the safety, train to hit the safety off. Front cocking serrations, especially because this slide is so smooth, makes it really easy. And of course the rear. Overall, I had a great experience with this pistol. And when it comes to disassembly, we're going to drop our magazine, check to make sure the gun is unloaded. Right here is your takedown little pin. You want to take either a spent shell or a little screwdriver to pop that out. It comes right out, it's not captive, and then your slide comes forward. We have our small, tiny recoil spring. That's pretty cool. And then we have our barrel that comes out. It is a tilting barrel design, and you'll notice that it does have a kind of an area right here that lowers and lessens in on the barrel. But it is a full-size barrel. The slide rails go to about the 2/3 of the frame, and we have our slide. It's a very simple, easy gun to disassemble. Reassembly, we're going to just go in reverse order, drop in our barrel, put in our tiny recoil spring, bring it back over the frame. When you're putting back in your takedown pin, you'll notice this little silver spring. And so you want to just push down on it a little bit, and then you can slide this back into the barrel. Test for function, we're good to go. Now it comes in just a plain nondescript box. Again, you do get your holster. You do get a mag loader, which when I went down to the range, I left this. And so this is really easy to load your magazines. You do get a chamber flag, and one great thing about that, some ranges require that you have one, so you've already got one right there. And then also you have your owner's manual and all the paperwork, and a lock, which is required by law. Now there's a lot of debate about carrying a 22 for self-defense. And the debate is real heavy on the don't do it. And I'm in that camp. I really feel like that if you're carrying a 22, it's very underpowered. But one of the big things is even if you make good shots, you know, is it going to stop the attack? Now, most of the time, just bringing out a firearm will stop an attack. A couple of rounds will stop the attack, even in the arm or the leg. But one of the big things about 22 is that they can sometimes be a little finicky. Even though 22 long rifle is more reliable than it's ever been, there is more of a chance of having some kind of malfunction. Now, on the flip side of that, if you have someone, a significant other, that just refuses to carry a centerfire pistol, even in 380, because they're just recoil sensitive. I have friends that have said, a number of friends that have said, my wife will not carry anything but a 22, as much as I've tried to talk her out of it. And so again, it's better to have a good 22 than it is to not carry anything. Even between the LCP II 380 and 22, is that it is difficult to master that 380. I mean, it took me a little while to really get good with it. And so unless you're going to train a lot with it, you know, that is one thing. You can get shots on target a lot faster and a lot more effectively with a very low recoiling firearm. And so one thing about this is make sure that if you do have someone that wants to carry this, or you yourself, is to make sure that shot placement is everything. And so you need to make sure that you train that way. Am I recommending 22? No. But if you're going to carry it, make sure you get those shots in the right spot. And guys, to be honest, there are poachers every year that go out and kill full-size deer with a 22. It is lethal. Now the price on the LCP II and 22 retails for $349. On the GunProDeals website, it's running $299. Extra mags are $20.90 on the GunProDeals website. And then again, the 2-pack is $29.99, which I think is a great deal. So guys, if you're looking for either a training option for your LCP II or even LCP, it's cheap to shoot, low recoil, low muzzle blast, and they're just a lot of fun to take out. Great for plinking, great for just getting out to the range, and also as a concealed carry option. And definitely appreciate GunProDeals for sending it. Well, I had a great experience with the Ruger LCP II, and it will go along great with my Ruger LCP II and 380. But I'm still a big fan of the standard LCP. So I think Ruger has some really nice budget firearms that are good quality. It really makes it nice to have a good quality concealed carry option without breaking the bank. And again, I want to thank the guys over at GunProDeals for sending this pistol and for their support. It means a lot. Again, just allows me to bring great guns to you, and they're just good guys. Rubber Dummies is one of the best training tools on the market, and you get a 10% discount using Suit00 when you click the link down in the description. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. It is more of an there is more of a protect it and makes it not. And also in the 22 ACP, there is no 22 ACP that I'm aware of. And I think that the 22 is going to take. So check out GunProDeals.